Canto 9. Seeing my face, and what a coward color it turned when he came back, my guide was quick to put away his own unwonted pallor. He stood and leaned intent, as who should prick his ears to hear, for far one could not see, so black the air was, and the fog so thick. Nay, somehow we must win this fight, said he. If not, that great self-proffered aid is lent, but oh, how long his coming seems to be. I saw too clearly how his first intent was cloaked by what came after. What he said was not what he designed, but different. But nonetheless, his speech increased my dread, for maybe I pieced out the broken phrase to a worse ending than was in his head. Did any ever, descending from that place where loss of hope remains their only woe, thread to its depth this hollow's dreary maze? I put this question. He replied, although 'tis rare that one of us should come this way, or undertake the journey I now go, yet once before I made it, truth to say, conjured by cruel Erichtho, she whose spell wont to call back the shades to their dead clay. I was not long stripped of my mortal shell when she compelled me pass within yon wall to fetch a spirit from Judas' circle of hell. That is the deepest, darkest place of all, and farthest from high heaven's all-moving gyre. I know the way. Take heart. No ill shall fall. On every side the vast and reeking mire surrounds this city of the woe-begot, where now's no entering, save with wrath and ire. And he went on, saying I know not what, for my whole being was drawn up with my eyes to where the tower's high battlements burned red hot. For there of a sudden I saw three shapes arise, three hellish furies, boltered all with blood. Their form and bearing were made woman-wise. Vivid green hydras girt them, and a brood of asps and adders, each a living tress, writhed round the brows of that fell sisterhood. And knowing well those handmaids pitiless, who serve the queen of everlasting woe, behold, said he, the fierce Erinnues. There on the right Alecto howls, and lo, Megaera on the left, betwixt them wails Tisiphone. And he was silent so. They beat their breasts and tore them with their nails, shrieking so loud that faint and tremulous I clutched the poet, and they with fiercer yells cried, "Fetch Medusa!" glaring down on us. "Turn him to stone. Why did we not requite? Woe worth the day, the assault of Theseus. Turn thee about, and shut thy eyelids tight, if Gorgon show her face, and thou thereon look once, there is no returning to the light." Thus cried the master, nor to my hands alone would trust, but turned me himself, and urgently pressed my palms close and covered them with his own. O you whose intellects keep their sanity, do you mark well the doctrine shrouded o'er by the strange verses with their mystery? Then o'er that dull tide came the crash and roar of an enormous and appalling sound, so that the ground shuddered from shore to shore. A sound like the sound of a violent wind, around the time of opposing heats and the parched weather, when it sweeps on the forest, and leaps with a sudden bound, shattering and scattering the boughs hither and thither. Superb with a tower of dust for harbinger it goes, while the wolves and herdsmen flee together. He loosed my eyes. "Now look," said he, "see there, yonder, beyond the foam of the ancient lake, where the harsh mist hangs thickest upon the air. And as the frogs, spying the foaming snake, go squattering over the pond and dive and sit huddled in the mud, even so I saw them break apart, whole shoals of ruined spirits, and flit, scudding from the path of one who came to meet us, walking the water of Styx with unwet feet. His left hand, moving, fanned away the gross air from his face, nor elsewise did he seem at all to find the way laborious. And when I saw him, right well did I deem him sent from heaven, and turned me to my guide, who signed me to be still and bow to him. What scorn was in his look! He stood beside the gate and touched it with a wand. It flew open. There was no resistance. All stood wide. "Outcasts of heaven, despicable crew," said he, his feet set on the dreadful sill, "why dwells this foolish insolence in you? Why kick against the pricks of that great will, whose purpose never can be overborne, and which hath oft increased your sorrows still? Or say, what boots it at the fates to spurn? Think how your Cerberus tried it, and yet bears the marks of it on jowl and throttle torn." Then back he went by those foul thoroughfares, and unto us said nothing, but appeared like one much pressed with weightier affairs than the cares of those before him. So we stirred our footsteps citywards, with hearts reposed, safely protected by the heavenly word. Through the great ward we entered unopposed, and I, being all agog to learn what state of things these huge defensive works enclosed, gazed round, the moment I had passed the gate, and saw a plain, stretched spacious on both sides, filled with ill woes and torments desolate. For as at Arles, where soft the slow Rhone slides, or as at Pola, near Quarnaro's bay that fences Italy with its washing tides, the ground is all uneven, with the array on every hand of countless sepulchres. So here, but in a far more bitter way, for strewn among the tombs tall flames flared fierce, heating them so white-hot as never burned iron in the forge of any artificers. The grave slabs all were thrown back and upturned. From within came forth such fearful crying, 'twas plain that here sad tortured spirits mourned. "O sir," said I, "who are the people lying in these grim coffers, whose sharp pains disclose their presence to the ear by their sad sighing?" And he, "The great heresiarchs, with all those of every sect their followers, and much more, the tombs lie laden than thou wouldst suppose. Here like with like is laid, and their flames roar more or less hot within their monuments." Then we moved onward, and right-handed bore between those fires and the high battlements.